for week 5 on FFT Express. It's Adam and Heath here. All right, here we go. I'm going to look at your rankings, some of the more interesting ones. Start with the quarterbacks. And I know your rankings do change, so if these are going to be updated, just let me know. But Sam Darnold, you have 8th. Sam Darnold ahead of Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy. So that's a nice vote of confidence for him.
Yeah, I think, and I've just kind of gotten this way with Baker Mayfield and with Sam Darnold, and it's possible that one of them is going to make it look foolish, but they're averaging 25 fantasy points per game through the first month of the season. They have elite wide receivers. Their offensive system is very good. I'm just starting both of them. I'm not worried about the matchups. I'm starting them.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say he's facing the Jets. It is not an easy matchup. You also have Jordan Love 4th, so everyone's got him 4th, all in.
Well, and this is not a difficult matchup against the Rams. The Rams have stopped absolutely no one. Love, he had some problems with some interceptions last week, but they're much better passing the ball than they are running the ball right now. We've seen now, and it's carried over into this year again, Matt LaFleur's offenses, when they get into the red zone, when they score touchdowns, that happens a lot more through the air than it does on the ground. I've had some concerns about Love's touchdown rate from last year, and could he sustain that? It looks like he can.
Deshaun Watson. Who would you start Deshaun Watson to going up with that dream matchup against the Commanders? Who would you start him over?
I'd start him over Patrick Mahomes. I'd start him over Anthony Richardson. I'd start him over Kirk Cousins. I'd start him over Caleb Williams and Aaron Rodgers and Trevor Lawrence. Listen, it's been terrible for the Browns. It's been terrible for the Commanders defense. I'm hopeful this is one case where the bad offense beats the bad defense. Watson's still averaging 37 pass attempts, 5 rush attempts per game. The volume's there for him to have a massive game if he could just stop being so terrible.
Let's take a look at some running back rankings. And how about we start with Devon Achane, who is where is Devon Achane for you?
He's 10th.
Oh, wow. I was scrolling down too far. You're higher on him than Jamie and Dave, who have him 16th.
I don't think that the Patriots' run defense is really a problem. I know that Achane has the ability to make your day with one play. I just can't get to a point where I'm sitting him. And I think like this should really be a game script where the Patriots offense can't build a big lead, so the Dolphins can really commit to the run and have a chance to compete in the game.
Okay. I'm surprised you have James Cook where you have him 13th. I thought, man, that's the only guy I see behind Achane there. I would definitely start over Achane.
And I would like, that's one where like when you say that, and I think, yeah, I'd probably like to, but man, last week really upset me. The things looked so great for James Cook the first 3 weeks of the season. And then for some unknown reason, Ty Johnson gets a carry inside the 5 and scores a touchdown. And James Cook barely sees the ball in the passing game in a game where they should be chasing and throwing a bunch. It shook me a little bit. I was the James Cook guy, and it's been good so far, but that's not supposed to happen. That's what happened in the past.
Yeah, I get that. That was a weird touchdown for sure. Travis Etienne, you have 17th. So does Jamie. Dave has Etienne. Where does Dave have Etienne? 15th. So you got Zach Moss, DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris ahead of Etienne.
Yeah, there's a lot of running backs, and I think Moss and Swift probably in that group. Everybody for the next 10 running backs when you scroll down from Etienne in that group of, if you just promised me that they were going to have the lead role that looks like they have, then I would rank them higher. But Tank Bigsby was a lot better as a rusher last week, was a lot better in week 1 as a rusher. The thing that keeps Etienne ranked in the top 20 is there's no doubt about him being the best pass catching back and the guy that Trevor Lawrence is going to throw it to if he throws it to a running back.
All right, we're going to take a break and look at some wide receiver rankings when we come back on Fantasy Football Today Express. And I'll just ask you, Heath, as we get back here, which wide receivers are you kind of high on this week? Who are you feeling?
Well, I mean, Deontay Johnson is wide receiver 6 for me. I had him projected ahead of Jamar Chase, but I moved Chase ahead of him just because it felt dumb. Yeah. But like Deontay Johnson Jaden Reed is wide receiver 9 for me. 277 receiving yards in 2 games with Jordan Love, and now he faces a terrible Rams defense. I think I'm probably higher on Drake London at 12 than I have been all season. I like the volume. I wish he could do anything after he caught the ball. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't give up big plays. They give up the stuff underneath. Drake London, I have 100 catches because that's all he does is not big plays.
That's what the Bills give up, and that's what Stephon Diggs does, right? The small stuff underneath.
Yeah.
Don't give up the big plays. So you have him 14th. Dave has him 14th. Jamie has him 10th. Stephon Diggs. Honestly, like how much of that is the narrative of facing the Bills?
0%. I did not move him at all because of the narrative of facing the Bills. A lot of it is like I don't feel confident in the guys behind him either. And maybe Marvin Harrison, like I got to thinking about it. I'd like to rank Brian Thomas Jr. ahead of him. I know Jacob Gibbs has had some good tweets out about why this matchup is going to be the breakout game for Brian Thomas Jr. But I don't like Garrett Wilson. I don't like Tyreek Hill. I don't really like the Saints wide receivers. How do you really get excited about the Browns wide receivers? Like this position, there's 4 teams on a bye with a lot of good wide receivers, and there's 17 top 24 wide receivers that are hurt. Not quite that many, but it seems like it.
Yeah. All right. And that brings us to Tyreek Hill. And I think you're actually the high guy on Tyreek Hill.
And it's like you said, like Tyreek Hill gets open. Tyreek Hill has the potential to score on just about any play from anywhere on the field. And it's in a week like this at wide receiver, it's hard to move that guy down far enough. I'd like to rank him lower. There just aren't wide receivers that I feel better about.
Yeah, I would start Cooper over him. I would start Olave over him.
I think Olave really makes sense if you're just not that worried about the Chiefs defense. Cooper makes sense if you're just not that worried about how awful he's been.
I wouldn't say I'm not worried about either of those things, but I would say
you're just more worried about Snoop Huntley.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill scored fewer than 9 points in 3 straight games, so that's crazy. And then at tight end, you have Mark Andrews as a definitive sit outside your top 20. And
he has scored 0 points in his last 2 games combined. He's running fewer routes than Isaiah Likely. Even if they get into a pass-heavy script, it doesn't seem to matter to Mark Andrews. And this looks like a game where they might be able to just run it 100 times. No, they won't need 100 times because they're going to pick up 100 yards per carry.
You can look at Heath's rankings. You can stream Colby Parkinson, Tucker Kraft, Pat Freiermuth. I'm not necessarily a streamer. Cade Otton, and let's just read some quick questions here. McBride or Ferguson?
Ooh, I love Trey McBride, but Jake Ferguson's my number 1 tight end this week, so I'll go with Ferguson.
Cade Otton or David Njoku if he plays? Oh, you gotta go Otton, right? Because it's Thursday.
Oh, he's playing tonight. Yes, for sure, Otton.
Sorry. Xavier Legette or Josh Downs?
I have Downs just a little bit higher.
Even you're expecting Richardson?
We're expecting Richardson.
Okay. Let's see. London, Kirk, Flowers, Cooper. We need to sit one of them.
I would sit Kirk.
Okay. I'd probably sit Flowers. He's just.
We agree on London and Cooper are the 2 you're definitely starting, and Flowers and Kirk are very close.
Hill or Chase Brown? Tyreek Hill or Chase Brown, half PPR?
I would still go with Tyreek Hill. I know Chase Brown had a great game last week. I still think he has a pretty low weekly floor as well until we see consistently he's getting more touches.
Yeah, I would go Hill as well. And that is Heath Cummings. I'm Adam Azer, and thank you all for listening and watching FFT Express. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight.